It was a different Christmas. 2 Christmases had passed since the communist occupation, and it was beginning to sink in that Christmas would never be the same. In previous years, Christmas had been so different. Department stores used to decorate with rich and glorious decor. Christmas lights used to flash up and down the streets, attracting the eyes of onlookers. Christmas carols played from every store, inviting shoppers to linger just a bit longer. The smells of candies and cakes filled the atmosphere, enticing each customer to spend a little more money. The Christmases before were not too different from Christmas on 42nd Street, not much different from Christmas at Macy's in New York. In those days, toy vendors set up shop along Main Street and created a Christmas wonderland. Surely Santa's workshop had resembled this. As far as the eye could see, there were toys. Big toys, small toys, cheap toys, and expensive toys. Anything a boy or girl could wish or want for Christmas could be found on this one street. But that was in the past. This year, Christmas made no mention of the Christ child. Not only did the stores not have lights and glitter, but there was also no merchandise. All seemed dark and dreary. Had they forgotten the season? Was there not something to celebrate? Oh, this Christmas was not the same. I had seen her on black and white television commercial. Her name was Lily. I shall never forget the jingle. She was the most beautiful doll I had ever seen, every little girl's dream. When I saw the commercial, I announced that she was my Christmas dream. Days later, I stood with my daddy in the street and looked. There were few vendors this year. The toys were not the same as in the years past. Most of these toys were made in Russia. They were few and feeble. There were no thrilling toys, no Lily dolls. However, my heart was set. She was all I wanted. I had a secret. I couldn't talk about it, but my mom and dad had told me that we were leaving for the United States soon. I needed Lily. She would be the only friend I could take. The days passed, but the gloominess of the season did not. There seemed to be no cause for celebration. I knew there would be no doll, no festivity, no Christmas. My daddy had a small toy booth on Main Street. It was the income from this yearly booth which provided our Christmas presents. Beginning with the 23rd of December, the booths never closed. Why set up and take down? People walked through these streets all night long on their way to and from work. Maybe a customer and a seller could come to an agreement that would profit them both in this horrible economy. Daddy couldn't close. If he didn't sell all of his toys, not only would he not make money, but he would also lose the money which he had been saving for our move to the United States. As shoppers came and went, a wealth of information about what toys, who had, for what price, was reported through the grapevine. Daddy heard that a vendor on another street had a few expensive toys. Maybe, just maybe, he would check to see if they might have the doll of my dreams. I held no expectations. I dare not dream for something so rare and so beyond our means. Life was hard. Our clothes and food were rationed. A toy was a luxury we just couldn't expect. His last toy sold at 11:20 p.m. on Christmas Eve. He had found my doll the night before and had told the vendor to hold it for him. As he threw away the boxes and dismantled the displays, his heart was beating out of control. What if the man had sold all of his toys and closed his booth? He had no backup plan. He had decided to spend all he had on the doll and a teddy bear for me and a toy for my brother Joe. Sweating from nerves, he ran a few blocks to the vendor who held our Christmas hopes in his hands. As he turned the last corners, he saw other vendors tearing down their booths, and the booth that held my Christmas wish was gone. He walked in silence, his heart pounding, trying to catch his breath as tears streamed down his face. He looked at his feet as he walked. He could see others like himself whose Christmas dreams seemed crushed and stolen. And suddenly, he heard a voice calling his name. It was the vendor. He was sitting on the sidewalk, hidden by the neighboring tables. He was waiting for my dad with our toys on his lap. I knew it was daylight, but I didn't want to get up. I knew there would be no Christmas. It was fine with me. I just couldn't stand the tears and the sadness on my mom's and dad's faces. Then I heard my mother's voice. She was asking if we were going to sleep all day or get up for Christmas. I wanted to hide in my bed and sleep all day, but I heard hope in her voice. I heard cheer in her words. What did she know? I slowly got up, and there under our tree sat my little rocking chair. And in the chair was my coveted doll and a brown Russian teddy bear. I couldn't believe it. My prayers had been answered. A Christmas miracle had occurred. There were tears on my mother's face, but they were tears of joy. I can still see her beautiful face and sparkling eyes. I was overwhelmed with love for my daddy. He had provided a treasure which every little girl in Cuba wanted, but surely few had received. I carried her everywhere. She slept with me, ate with me. She was my dearest and best of friends. She came with me to the United States and sat in my arms on our way to our new home in New Mexico. Many Christmases have come and gone since that Christmas of 1961. Many toys have passed through my hand, but not many have stayed in my heart. My doll has held a treasured place in my home through the years. And this year, my dear friend celebrates her 57th birthday. As I think about yet another Christmas, I wonder what to share with those that I love. What can I give my grandchildren that would be treasured and precious to them many years down the road? Will they remember the sacrifices that were made for them? Will they internalize and appreciate the greatest gift of all? I realize now that what made the difference at Christmas morning more than 50 years ago was not simply my gift. It was His gift, His presence that filled our home. And it gave us hope in the midst of despair. It gave us life in the midst of death. He gave us a reason to celebrate. May His presence be the gift that my children and my grandchildren remember in me.